I'm trying not to cry.
I know. Houston was too. Jim, are you trying to scare my fish off? Did you see a frog jump in?
Yeah.
Don't let Gemma see it. Well, what's up, guys? It's Daniel and Houston from Arms Family Homestead, and Houston just got home from school. It's Wednesday afternoon, and we just wanted to share a video with you guys. There's something that's happened in our life, not just our life, but something just recently happened that makes you slow down, think about life, think about things. A couple days ago, Gemma, did you fall in?
Yep.
Gemma? Looks like Gemma fell in and Bella jumped in. Anyways, a couple days ago, we got a phone call from some friends and another one from some family that you never want to hear. And a really good friend of ours passed away. His name was Jesse Oxley. And we want to tell you about Jesse today. Jesse was a very special person to us, a really good friend, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe Bella won't fall in this pond and get it all nasty. You can feed him a worm or two?
Yeah. Where do you want me to set this? They are very long.
Big old long worms, huh?
Yeah.
Bass aren't hungry right now.
We did just get them some minnows.
Yep, there's 5 dozen minnows in there. So the bass have probably all got their belly full. So Jesse Oxley, great friend of mine. Jesse was a lot older than me. I think he was about 60 years old. So an older guy that I looked up to, basically. I've known him all my life. And Houston first got to meet Jesse. Probably his first memories of Jesse included what?
Whenever we were picking out the goats and going to take them to him. That was the first thing.
What did you get from Jesse?
This pond right here.
That's right. Houston actually bought his stock tank from Jesse last year. And he'd met Jesse a few times here and there, but it was just because he had been in and out coming to our place. And so Houston bought his first fish pond stock tank from Jesse for $50. And then also included in the deal were the 3 goldfish that you just saw Houston feeding up there. Those were actually bait fish that he'd put into just a cattle water trough.
Years ago.
And Houston netted them out and brought them home, and we still have them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think the turtle eat a worm? See if they're hungry.
The second he saw it, he came out.
Yep. Jesse was a guy that I've known my entire life. Just the salt of the earth, good old boy, country boy, just an old cowboy, really. And the kind of guy that would literally do anything for you at any time.
Yes.
And it didn't matter what it was. If I called Jesse, he answered the phone. And usually it was just, hey, Jesse, I got an idea, or I have a question, or what do you think about this? And he'd say, I'll be right there. I said, Jesse, no, you don't have to come to the house. I need to pick your brain a little bit, because he's one of those guys that could pretty much do anything. And I'd say, no, Jesse, you don't need to come to the house. But sure enough, as soon as he got off work, his pickup truck would come pulling in the driveway. And Jesse was one of those guys that when he showed up, he was here to talk, wasn't he? He might be here for 2 hours, but we'd figure out what we needed to know. I guarantee you that.
Bella, move, you're soaking wet.
Yeah, she just got out of the dang fish pond. Soaking wet and smells like a wet dog now, doesn't she?
Yeah.
10. Woo! You got a stack of hundos.
You see any more help?
He pays pretty good, huh?
He pays pretty good.
Jesse has been on the channel before.
Yeah.
Maybe once or twice.
At least once.
About not this past kid crop of goats, but the time before. Houston basically pretty much sold all the does to Jesse.
Yes.
Me and Houston and Jacoby loaded up all the little goat kids and took them over there to him. He was wanting to get into Kiko goats and ended up buying pretty much all of our little doe kids off of us that year. And in true Jesse fashion, he's a wheeler and a dealer and always buying and selling. And he's a guy that I've probably bought laying hens off of for the last 10 years. He'd call me, hey, I got some chickens, you need some chickens, and I'd go pick them up or whatever. And so he wanted to get into the Kiko goats thing, and he bought about, I don't remember what, 12 or so from us, 10. And sure enough, like 2 months later, he said, I don't think I want to be in the goat business. So he sold all the goats and bought sheep.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, they still got the sheep over there. But the other night, we were just kind of hanging out. I was outside watering and feeding, and I heard an ambulance. I heard the siren go by, which we're a long ways from the road. You hear sirens every once in a while. Don't think a whole lot about it. And Jesse lives about 3 miles from us. He's kind of lives over by where Dusty's original bison herd are. And I heard the siren, didn't think anything about it. And about an hour or two later, I got a phone call. And, we live in the country, and everybody's your neighbor. If they're within 5 miles of you, you call them your neighbor, right? And I'm sure what had happened was when an ambulance went by, everybody's phone started blowing up and people trying to figure out what was going on. So we started getting phone calls and, hey, I heard the ambulance was at Jesse's house. And do you know what happened to Jesse? And I had no clue. I didn't know. But we found out later that Jesse was at home by himself. He'd got off the phone with his wife. And she said, I'll be home in 30 minutes or so, something. I'm not sure the details. It's none of my business. But when she got home, she found Jesse laying in the yard, and he had a heart attack. And Jesse, like I said, was probably right around 60 years old, and he's got kids my age. And I was talking to Josh, the guy that traps pigs for us, or that comes and hauls our pigs. Josh literally lives right across the road from Jesse, so they're real neighbors, next door neighbors. And Josh said, Jesse told me one day that he didn't want to be one of those guys that got sick and just went downhill slowly and couldn't do anything. He was just a cowboy at heart. That's just the easiest way to put it, I guess. And he said, when I go, I just want to go like that. And I guess that's kind of what happened. And here, it's so hard. Like, basically, well, Houston and I are filming this on Wednesday evening. His funeral is on Saturday, which is the same day as our conference in Tulsa, so I'm not going to get to be there for it. But Houston's not going to the conference, so my mother-in-law is going to take Houston to the funeral. And life is short. The Bible teaches us that we're here for a second. Life is like a vapor. You're here and then you're gone. And Jesse may have been around for 60 years, but that's but a vapor in the real scheme of things. And we're gonna miss him. It's heartbreaking that DJ and I won't get to go to the funeral, but Houston's gonna go and get to be there in that celebration. That funerals are tough, and this is a lesson for you too, Houston. Funerals are hard. I dealt with a lot of death as a small child. My mom died when I was 6. My dad died when I was 20. Lost 3 out of my 4 grandparents before I was 25, I guess. 2 of them when I was really young. So I dealt with a lot of death and a lot of funerals. And then 14 years on the highway patrol, I dealt with a lot of death there. And what I guess I want to try to say is death is just a part of life, and the funeral needs to be more of a celebration of that person. Jesse Oxley's going to be missed by a lot of people. He's touched so many people. I'm sure there's probably hundreds of people that are going to show up at this funeral. There's going to be a celebration of who Jesse was, and we're going to miss him. The other night when all this happened, we told Houston later that evening, and do you remember what you told me? You came in the living room, you were pretty upset and crying about it, and you said Jesse was one of the nicest people that you'd ever met and that you'd never forget him, right? Well, that's what we want. That's our goal, okay? That's our goal in life, is when we're here, we want to touch people's lives as best we can. We want to make people's lives better. It's no different, I guess, than like buying that piece of property at Mill Creek. My goal there is to make that piece of property better than what it was when I found it, when I got it. Well, that's kind of what life is. That's what we should strive to do, is touch people's lives, make their day better, make their life better. And when we're gone, people will miss us, and that's great, that's good, but we want them to remember all the good things, right? Like, one of the good things that Jesse did for us was, well, you remember when we decided to add on to the barn? I called Jesse, and he said, I'll be right there. After work, I'll be right there. And he showed up, and we built the big lean-to onto the barn, and it was no big deal for him. That was what he did. So when Houston and I look around our property, there's a lot of things that Jesse was involved in. He built the lean-to on that shop. He built our chicken coop, which our chickens don't stay in it right now. Used to, we put them up at night. They stay at the barn now. But our chicken coop was something that he built. This stock tank was his, that he sold to you, those 3 goldfish. And Jesse was like, I don't want to call him a fan of the channel, because he was a personal close friend, but he was also a fan of our YouTube channel. And he watched a lot of other Homestead type channels, and he would call me and be like, can you believe this person's doing this? Can you believe they're doing this? They don't know what they're doing. And he liked to vent to me about it. But he actually started a YouTube channel, Houston. He did? Yes. He was wanting to really bad for a long time, and just really didn't know how, didn't know what to do. But finally, he just did it. He started a YouTube channel, and I think he's only got maybe 8 or 10 videos. But it's like, I think it's called Jesse's Country Living with Jesse Oxley or something like that. I'll leave a link. And he commented on all of my videos, probably commented on a bunch of other channels' videos. Sometimes they weren't the greatest comments, because he'd tell people when they did something wrong. If he didn't like what they were doing and they were doing it wrong, he was going to tell them about it. And I respect that. I respect that. He's a great man, a great friend, and a lot of people around here are really going to miss him. So that's one thing about this crazy world we live in. We don't know how long our time is on Earth, but it should be our goal to make an impact on people, like I told Houston, to make their lives better.
Gemma fell in.
And
she's drenched.
Gemma fell in the pond again? That goofy dog. You know, it's when things like this happen, it really slows you down and makes you think about life. And you know, it's like this YouTube channel. If something were to happen to me, you know, tomorrow, who knows? If something were to happen to me, my family and my kids and all of my friends would have 1,000+ videos to go back and watch, and you know, have that to hold on to. Not everybody has that, but I feel like that's a big part of why I started. And I was in law enforcement, and it's a dangerous world and all that, and you just never know. So it was a factor in why I started a YouTube channel and started doing this stuff, so that my kids could see all that later on if something were to happen to me. But Houston, in other news, let's be happy, okay? Let's be happy. There's one thing that you haven't got to show anybody on the channel since your birthday. What in the world did you get for your birthday?
I got 2 redfoot baby tortoises.
2 redfoot baby tortoises.
Yes.
Where did those tortoises come from?
Blake's Exotic Animal Ranch.
You put the turtle in the box?
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Get him!
What is it?
You actually got me redfoots? Oh my gosh, no way. You didn't. No.
Well, we had some help.
You know where they came from, right?
Blake's. Oh my gosh.
That's right. So Houston, you remember back in January, Houston and I went to Blake's Exotic Animal Ranch in Miami, Florida, And Blake has tortoises galore, which he's in a little bit different climate, but he hatches baby tortoises. And DJ and I decided, after months and months and months of Houston wanting more turtles, DJ was like, why don't you call Blake and see if he has any baby tortoises. So I did, and Blake was like, I'll hook Houston up. And so Blake sells baby tortoises all over the country online. Be sure, if you're in the market for all kinds of cool turtles, go look at Blake's channel.
Yeah.
And his website, Blake's Exotic Animal Ranch. But I'm going to let Houston grab his 2 little baby tortoises. We're keeping them in the shop right now in a big enclosure because I just don't feel like it's safe for them to stay outside. Obviously, they can't go in the other tortoise enclosure right now because they're too small, huh?
Yeah, the only thing that we can think of that we would do for them to be able to come outside is we get like a tote or something for them, and then we put like a chicken wire over the top, because that's what most people do.
Yeah, to make it safe.
Yeah, when they're in an area like this.
Yeah, but they'll grow fast, so they'll get big enough that raccoons and stuff won't be a problem. I don't think.
You've seen how much my first tortoise has grown since I first got him, because he was like this big. Oh, hold this. He was like this big, and now he's already like this big.
Yeah, he's getting big.
Yeah.
Well, go grab those 2 babies.
Okay. And these ones are actually really, really friendly. As you can see, they're already coming out.
What's your favorite kind of tortoise?
These.
Redfoot tortoise, huh?
Yeah.
What's so special? Why redfoots? Why do you like them so much?
Because their color.
You like their color?
Yeah. It makes them just stand out more.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, they're neat little guys, and they eat a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it surprised me how much they can eat in a day for 2 little bitty tortoises.
Yeah.
But so that means they'll probably grow pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be as big as your sulcata tortoise at full grown size, but they'll be pretty good sized turtle.
Yeah.
There's 2 more turtles that have to stay in the shop during the wintertime, though. Mm-hmm. They won't be able to survive the Oklahoma cold, but once they get a little bit bigger, we can move them outside during the summertime, and they can stay out there all summer long. Look at them little guys. Alrighty, you want to go put them up?
Yeah.
Well, Mom made it home. I told her I'd wait on her to shoot the ending to this video because Jesse meant a lot to Houston and I, but it wasn't just us 2.
No, he was, oh my gosh, he is such a character. And he was monumental in helping me find my donkeys.
That's right.
Yes. And because he goes to sales all the time, all over the place. And so he would message me and text me and be like, DJ, you need me to look for you anything?
Sometimes he would text me first.
Yeah, he definitely would.
And somehow, DJ never heard about the auction sometimes.
Sometimes I didn't, but sometimes I bypassed Daniel and Jesse and I would do our thing, and he would be messaging me while the auction's going on, and I'm like, no, it's too expensive. I really want it. And
he'd be like, you're going to have to spend more money, dear.
Yeah. And then he would call me and say, hey, they've got some donkeys here. You want me to stay and wait, And he would. He was so great. And, I don't know what all you told him, but, we saw him at the ball games last week. And
yeah, I didn't say all that. We literally saw Jesse at the grocery store the day before this happened. The very day before.
Yes.
And at ball games last week because his granddaughter plays softball with Emily. She's incredible. She's awesome. She's really good. But yeah, we saw Jesse the day before this happened, and everything was just fine. So
he gave me a jar of honey to give to my dad because he always takes care of my dad.
He was the honey man. That was Houston. Houston was really wanting to learn the honeybees with him because Jesse had hives all over the place, and he would sell honey, but he'd go around and give it to all of his ladies.
Yes. Yes.
Don't. He had people that he gave honey to all the time. So.
Yes. I'm so grateful that even just in the grocery store, just the few minutes that we stood there and talked to him for just a few minutes was just, I'm so glad we got that moment. I mean, we stood there and told him, how much we thought his granddaughter was built just like him.
Yeah. When she walks up the plate to bat, she looks like just like him from behind.
Yes, and I'm trying not to cry.
I know. Houston was too.
Oh.
Well, that's not Weston pulling up.
Anyway.
Arm's tired. Had to switch arms.
Anyway, yeah, it sucks.
It does.
Because you just never know.
You never know. That's exactly what I said on video. You just never know when you're going to have to put up with somebody.
Hey,
God.
oh, my Lanta, you dyed it.
Clean shave.
Clean shaved and you dyed it. What's happening?
We're gonna have to go.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm drying up the tears now. I gotta look at this goober.
That's it. We gotta go.
Welcome to the channel. I'm trying to start a new channel. See if you folks out there would be interested. I have chickens, a few cows, a few beehives, rabbits, turkeys. Just my home, everyday living. Come and see what you think. I call him Big Daddy. I ain't thought of a name for him yet. He's kind of ornery. Welcome to the channel. Pardon all the noise behind me, but haven't fed yet. But I've got some new birds to bring to the farm today. Hang on just a second, I'll get them. Show you what I got here. These are the barred rocks. I got 7 of those. I don't know if you can see those or not. But pretty good looking little chickens. Get them in the brooder.